Sam's setting up. We're about to do an interview all the way down under in Australia, mate.
Put a shrimp on the barbie.
Wow.
Oh, that looks nice and warm, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks great.
So we're interviewing with, what's it called?
Fifi, Fev, and Nick.
I had a gorilla named Fifi as a kid.
Oh,
a
great.
big white stuffed gorilla. I love that guy.
Did you really have to go there?
What? I loved him dearly.
Oh, yeah, we know.
What is that supposed to mean, babe?
But did you feel there was a lot at stake? It wasn't just your family, it was a career you'd built too.
Oh yeah, I thought it was all over. When my name was discovered and I got that initial tweet, we were at the airport and I leaned up against the wall to keep from falling over because I was just like panicking. My eyeballs were just like earthquakes in my skull. Oh, it was one of the most terrifying moments of my life for sure. And I thought for sure everything was over, including my wife, my family, my career.
What was the reaction with your friends and family? Were people on board you trying to repair the relationship?
Yeah, all of our friends and family were on board with repairing the relationship. In fact, so much so that I was like, does anybody want to just like punch him before we start healing? Like everybody was so supportive of us working it out, like, and supportive of him because his repentance was just so true.
Been on the documentary, but you've also got your autobiography, Sam and Nia, Living Truth. By the way, if anyone wants to get that, that is available now. There it is on Amazon.com. I mean, obviously people could read the book, but what are like the headlines for a couple that are trying to get through a cheating episode in a relationship?
You definitely need a community, and you need something bigger than each other to do it for. And that for us is Jesus. That's for everybody. But you need something bigger than the other person. Because I wasn't enough for her to stay. That was clear. And I no longer had her support as I fought for my marriage because I had completely lost her trust. So I had to pour into the Lord more than ever. We both had each other on a pedestal. And when this happened, we were back at our foundation, and we had to replace that with Jesus. And so you definitely need community. You need Jesus. And sincere repentance on the person who cheated.
Yeah, and I mean, just like being willing to put in a lot of hard work, all of those things. And one thing I felt like the documentary just didn't show anything was how much hard work we put into our marriage. I mean, countless hours of counseling.
There's a lot of people curious about our story, especially in Australia. This weekend, we're doing some interviews with people in London too. It's crazy that like our story of redemption is capturing the attention of all the nations. This is our second Australian interview. I'm decided to vlog it this time because last time it was very heated.
Okay, but Fifi and Fev gave you fair interview. They were from the same station and they were fair.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, they were. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Point it at the screen.
Pointing at the screen?
Yeah, it was better.
Girl, you wild.
That doesn't seem like the right answer. What you just did.
Yeah, it is. Looks
No,
great.
go up. You need to go up a little more. Oh, great. You cover
Recording in progress.
Cover up that ugly basket over there.
What?
Hang on, sorry. I just can't stand it. Hi.
Hey. Now, I think you can only see one of us.
Sam, you talk about you had everything you wanted in a marriage with your beautiful wife and your beautiful family, and you were sort of just lost with, I guess, life really. Do you remember the feelings back then that you had of why you signed up to the website in the first place?
It was definitely a slippery slope. It was kind of the last thing I tried to add adventure or interest to my life. But where I was at the time was I want my marriage. I want that to stay complete. I love my family. I was looking for something else outside of the mundane.
And it's so interesting seeing you break down so many times, because I know that this was so hard for you guys, and seeing that, I guess, even just something that you were after, you ended up just getting it through your YouTube videos.
Sam can clear it up better than I can, but that was actually a little bit of a twist on the real story. The documentary portrayed that he kind of traded one vice for another. Yeah. But really that's not.
YouTube came along after I repented, and in the documentary it appears that I traded adultery for YouTube, which is false.
Right, okay. Are you happy with the documentary?
I guess happy with it in a way, yes, because I had a little bit of, little nerves that they might make us out to be how
kooky
sometimes that happens.
Christians, yeah.
And I feel like they really did stay true to our story for the most part, aside from that twist and then just so much context that was left out.
But this sort of thing, had it not been leaked on the internet and you were honest with Nia about it, that would still be private details. Not so much of it would be out in the public, because now you've not only got to just explain it to Nia, you've got Nia's parents, you've got your parents, you've got all these people who are asking lots of questions, I guess.
Our moms had some questions, and they had a lot of emotions, I guess. It seems natural just, looking back on how they both reacted, but they've both kind of come around. And
this is why we wrote a book, because there's a lot of explaining to do, but we're sharing it because overall it was a story of redemption. And there's 30 million, now it's like 60 million men on this website. It's probably still mostly men. This is a worldwide problem, adultery is. And somebody's got to come out and just speak out about all the ugly details and show that there is hope, and that that's not the place to turn for what we're actually really wanting in our hearts. Adultery is not going to solve it. And so we feel God called us to be open about it, and here we are.
Yeah. If the breach hadn't happened, and I've heard you say in previous interviews that you wouldn't have told your wife, you might have broken up because there was something missing. There was a problem there.
I don't know. I kind of look at that. I feel like just the way things have turned out, I think no matter what, the Lord was going to keep convicting his heart, and he would have eventually confessed it. It may have come about a different way. It may have been less public. I don't know, but
I'm a professing, bold, outspoken Christian, and God is clear in the Bible that he will not be mocked. That Forgiven video that I upload was a mockery to him. One way or another, God was going to make me face the truth and to step out of the darkness.
Do you think that there is a way bypassing the affairs? So many people, I guess, that are going through it that might be unhappy. And you were saying, Nia, for the first time you actually looked at Sam and you felt like you actually saw the real Sam because everything had washed aside.
I grew up in a very broken home. So did Nia, and that's kind of where it all began. It's kind of a generational curse. Like, adultery goes back pretty far. And hopefully my son will know that in order to avoid this, he has to be surrounded in community and other Christians, and he can't do marriage or life alone. He can't do it with just his wife. So there was definitely a way to avoid it. I can't blame anybody but myself, but I wish a man or a father figure had stepped into my life and said, dude, this is going to be really hard, and I'm going to walk through this with you. I'm not going to let you fall into those common pitfalls. From
Sam's perspective, but from mine, I think, especially, we got married so young. I didn't even know how to be a safe space for him to talk openly to me. And oftentimes when your spouse, especially when a male is telling a female something, we respond emotionally. We respond, kind of like, for me, a heightened response. Yeah. I can see how in the early days of our marriage, he would not have wanted to tell me.
I didn't know how to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I didn't know how to open up to her about my brokenness. Like, because I thought it would be devastating to her. I thought it was life-shattering. Yeah. And so we couldn't handle it. Neither one of us could handle that truth.
I asked your feelings towards the people that did the data breach, because for you guys, you've had the support of your community. You've been able to support each other. But a lot of them have ended in such shame.
It's hard to put it into words when you put it that way, because for my story, I'm thankful, but for Christy, who's in episode 2 of the documentary, she's become a very good friend of ours. I almost want to say I would rather him take his secrets to the grave and me live in the dark than for her to have lost her husband. It's heartbreaking that just the same, such drastically different results came from what the hackers did, and it's just hard to put it into words for me.
We appreciate you guys. You're very kind doing this interview. Unlike
you're welcome.
Don't give it.
Oh, you have spoken to some nasty people, have you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez,
oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Send them a copy of your book and highlight all the parts you think they need to learn.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's a funny thing.
Good on you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
They were nice.
They were nice. I wish we could have seen the girl. I always just feel a little bit more at ease when there's like some female energy, but even we had a great interview earlier during like nap time, And it was really sweet. It was a very sweet interview, but she did ask some tough questions that made us really have to kind of like
pause and consider if we wanted to even answer it.
Yeah, I declined one of them. We declined a question here too. We've been, I mean, I don't know if we put this in there or not, but we're declining to give out any more details. Like, it's written in the book, it's voiced in the documentary, and anything beyond that, we had a really sweet lady. Her and her husband are pastors. She advised us from the get-go, be careful with the details. And I feel like we felt peace about putting the documentary in our book. But beyond that, it's like, why say those? And some of the words even, I don't talk like that. Like, so for me to answer a question on, like, someone said, what's the worst thing Sam did behind your back? I'm like, I'm not going to say those words.
Yeah, you're right. It's even hard to say those things, even for me, because my life has been so transformed. It was difficult, very difficult to write about it.
Yeah, and
talk about in documentaries. Like, to do that again, let those nasty words come out of our mouth is not natural.
It's not. And like that interview right there, it was just kind of FaceTiming with just a guy. There were other people were behind the camera, and it's like, I would never want to say those. I mean, I guess most men are familiar with the things you can get your hands on out there, but like, would we really want to be a stumbling block? I don't want to have that pressure. So I just think it's best to just, details are in the book.
Yeah.
And if not,
I love you.
I love you too.
I wish I made it clear to them how much I love you.
You did say you love me.
This is my opportunity to proclaim my love to the world.
Oh,
I've always wanted to do it. Remember all those letters I wrote you? I'm like, I just want to shout to the world how in love I am with you.
Oh, you're so cute. You did say that.
I get to do it. I need to take more opportunity to do that.
Aw. I almost bought myself flowers at the store today, and I was like, no, I'm going to tell Sam I want flowers.
Oh, man. We shouldn't have to tell me. All right, guys. We're sitting down for yet another interview in Australia.
I can't wear these pants. They're wet.
Doesn't matter. Nobody can see them.
I know, but I feel uncomfortable. I didn't realize a wet towel got thrown on top of them.
There's Dallas Morning News reaching out.
There we go. There they are. Wow.
I would love to chat with you. The Admiral comes to the aftermath.
Just going through my little bit of paper to make sure I've got the right thing here.
Is this live?
Yeah, it will be in a moment, yes. It'll be live. 30 seconds.
Oh, did not know that. Okay.
Welcome, you guys. It's great to have you on. Was it a tough decision to take part in something so public?
Yes, it was a tough decision to make. It was several months in the making before we actually decided to participate.
But you know what? Your honesty is refreshing, and it's a story that obviously millions of people can relate to. So for people who don't know, Sam, you got married young to the beautiful Nia. You guys have got a family, and your life looked perfect from the outside, but thinking that there was more out there. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, sure, but it was more than just being young. It was also being without guidance. Neither one of us had an active father in our lives, and I see now, as a father myself, the importance of a father figure and having a male guidance in my life, and that was lacking in both of our lives. So we were just kind of self-guiding each other, and it didn't work out very good.
I can't imagine that would be really hard. I had an incredible dad, and if you do, you're very lucky. But is that an excuse, essentially? Like, did you still know that what you were doing was wrong?
I knew what I was doing was wrong, yes, and it does not excuse it. Thank you for allowing me to clarify that. There's absolutely no excuse for what I did, and I was fully aware of what I was doing.
Nia, I think a lot of people listening will relate to you in that, and I'm one of those people who's felt like their world has fallen apart because of infidelity. But how did you find it in your heart to A, forgive him, and to be, almost more importantly, to trust him moving forward?
It wasn't easy. It was definitely a lot of hard work and researching what the Bible says about it. Also, like I said, we had so much history. Just because he was unfaithful, I hadn't been unfaithful, and I still had a lot of love in my heart. Even though I was angry and hurt and betrayed, that kind of stuff doesn't just go away overnight. We had children, and I just had to consider all of these things.
So with you two now and this doco becoming such a worldwide hit, how are you dealing with this added attention that's come into your lives now?
It's pretty crazy. Definitely the biggest thing we've ever been a part of. But we feel like God's been preparing us for this moment, honestly. We've gone viral. We went viral 10 years ago. Then a year after that, we went really bigger viral.
Juice was big. You went viral for the Frozen video.
God's been preparing us for this moment. Honestly, we've gone viral. We went viral 10 years ago. Then a year after that, we went really bigger viral.
Juice was big. People don't know, you went viral for the Frozen video, lip syncing Frozen. For people who haven't seen the doc,
I've got to give the title. It's one of the great titles of YouTube videos. It's titled "Good-Looking Parents Sing Disney's Frozen."
It's very
one of the great titles.
So at the time,
Who titled that video? Did you? Who wrote the title for that video?
This guy.
There he is. There he is.
At the time, they'd got millions of views. So you went from, you had fame then. So, but this is even more fame, isn't it?
Right. Well, then we had another video go viral where I tested Nia's urine and found out she was pregnant before she did. And that was another huge thing. Then we got a bunch of hate after that, people accusing us of faking it all. At this point, this is just kind of what we're used to, honestly. And we honestly feel like God has been preparing our hearts for this moment to speak truth and hope into marriages that are broken today.
Sam, do you still have any of the urges?
You're human, so you see attractive people, and your biology,
Oh, I get it.
brings desire.
Oh, yeah.
How do you deal with that? And then we all do that. So how do you deal with that, Sam? It's a reasonable question.
I truly want the deepest relationship with the Lord that I can have. And the Bible's very, very clear about sexual immorality. It says stay far, far away from this. And I have experienced the further I get, even looking at a pretty woman, which is where I'm at today. I'm not choosing to worship this woman right now. I'm going to worship my Lord. And then the other question that comes to my mind, I don't want this girl's attention. I want Jesus' attention. And that's where my battleground is at today. Like pornography, adultery, that is so far behind me. It's not even close to what I'm tempted by today.
Wow, I'll tell you what, and you can join Sam and Nia on YouTube but you're going to have to join. They've only got 2.52 million subscribers at the moment, so they're struggling a little bit.
We appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, Nia, were you hoping he'd say he wants your attention rather than God's, or are you happy with him just wanting God's attention?
Oh, no, I'm happy with that. I think that if he's got God's attention first and then mine second, then everything else will follow. Everything else will follow.
You're a good woman. You know what? Second to Jesus ain't bad. Therefore, Live in Truth Public Scandal is on Amazon as well. Thank you both so much for joining us. Today FM.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain.